What's happening, people? Welcome to Off the Top, where I go literally off the top of the dome on my preview of the Warriors games. And we're going to talk now about the Warriors versus the Sharks coming up this Friday. Team list just dropped last night. Off the top of the dome, I feel it's really good. A really good squad, considering we've got CNK out and we've got Marata, who just found out has a foot fracture, from what I understand. Not sure how long he's going to be out, but it has impacted our bench a little bit as well. But from my gut feeling, I feel really good about this squad. Starting at the back, I feel Tane's going to do a really good job. Promising young player. I think he's gonna go well, and with the support around him, I think it's going to be really awesome. The back five from Marcelo, Dallin, Roger, and Rocco. Just a lot of yardage, a lot of speed from that back five. I think we're going to do well coming out of our own end, especially Roger. Big night for him. I think we're going to do pretty well there. The halves, Metcalf won out that spot. I think he deserved it. I think he's earned it. I'm excited to see him go and work with Sean, and I think he'll get more of a role this year, especially with Roger on his outside. You're looking to get Roger more ball. That means Metcalf more involvement. So looking forward to that. In the front row, Adam again. I think he'll be consistent this year, despite him moving to the Sharks, a team he's going to come up against and that he's going to play for. But I think he's a professional. He knows what he's doing. Egan, I'm expecting a big night from him. And then Barnett. So we are settled on that front row starting. I think there were thoughts about Bunty being that starting prop, but I think it's pretty settled with Webby that Barnett is that guy. Back row forward, Capewell's going to have a massive game, I feel, and Tohu as well. I think that's a really solid, like 80 minutes back row, and then Tohu at lock will play a big chunk of time. Now, the bench is interesting. We've got Freddie Lussick, I think, and then we've got Tom Ale, Buntia Fort, and Dylan Walker. So Lussick, for me, I'm thinking he's coming in as the kind of cover man for Egan. So he will play maybe a bigger role this year as a cover guy in terms of working in the middle, playing hooker. But defensively, I think he's very strong up top, can hold his ground. So if you tie him in with the likes of Bunty as well, very strong defensively. I think Webby's gone for a slightly less dynamic pack, but more solid defensively, maybe unit. But Tom Ali, I think, is a big one tomorrow, kind of coming in for that Marata role impact. I think he'll be the main impact guy off the bench, whereas I think our four will be more of kind of in the last 20 minutes, that type of thing. Dylan Walker will again just be doing his role, but the odd one out, unfortunately, is Jazz. And I think the consensus from a lot of fans is that Jazz hasn't lived up to preseason and his own expectations. Seeing he's been named in the cup side, so he's probably looking to get himself back into the squad at the moment. I think they've settled on Lussick as being that guy to cover a few spots for now. But I think that's a pretty good squad. On the other side of the Sharks, always a quality squad. If you look at their go through on paper, man, they've got good players. The struggle for them this year will be they've been really poor defensively. They've been hot and cold. Most of their back five are really hit and miss at times. But the quality is there. Mulatalo, Kennedy's a good fullback for mine. Then you go across the park. Talakai on his day is a wrecking ball. Then you got Katoa on the other side. Ramian has been around the game for a long time. So this is an experienced squad that's been together a while. But it seems as though Fitzgibbon has struggled to really get consistency, mostly defensively for mine. Trindle and Hines in the halves. Trindle is an upgrade, and I suppose in a way to Moreland, but not a massive upgrade. So I'm expecting Metcalf to kind of win that battle in a way. But Hines is still quality. I know he's been had a few kind of last year wasn't the greatest season for him, but I think he's still very quality. Then you got Oregon Kalfusi. Trindle's a very good hooker, 80-minute hooker, how they use him. And then their back row, Nikora, again on their right edge with Hines is going to be deadly. So it's going to be a big day for our left edge, I feel. Then you go to their bench, a bigger bench, Finucane dropping into the bench, allowing McInnes to start. So I suppose Finucane kind of slowly going into that back end of his career, going into a new role, but still providing impact off the bench, I feel. Hazelton and a few other boys. Toby Rudolph. It's a big bench compared to ours. I think they're going to try and look to kind of win the parts of the field, parts of the game. I suppose in the the early rounds, they like to have a big punch and to start from what I remember from last year, the Sharkies. and then probably a second wave in the second half. But for game plan wise, I'm looking at defensive work. I think defense is the key. I think I want to see our left edge under the pressure with a Nico Hines, Nikora, Ramey, and Katoa attacking it. I want to see Rog. I think Rog will do well, and I think Rog and Montoya, the trust they have is pretty good at the moment. My only concern is really Metcalf and Ford. We saw that last year. Can they improve on that relationship, both on attack and defense? I'm really looking forward to seeing that, as I think Nikora has some of the best lines, hard lines that do draw attention. So that left channel, I think, is going to be in for a good test. And then if you go, on the opposite side, I think we'll do well attacking the right edge. I feel we're going to have some fruit down there. Teague Wilson, I think it is, with Trindle. Again, Trindle isn't a massive upgrade defensively on Moylan last year, so I imagine Cape Well will be sending traffic down that way. Berry, Dallin, and Sean will be hitting those numbers, perfectly and timing their runs and that type of thing. I think around the ruck we'll get them as well with Egan. If you've got a starting pack of Kafusi and Royce Hunt, I think that's a big bopper type front row, but they can be manipulated around the ruck, and I'm no doubt Egan will be trying to get those boys around the ruck. So yeah, I'm feeling like we're going to win momentum. Kicking game will be big. I think the Sharkies don't have the longest kicking game. We know Sean does. I think Metcalf will jump in and chime in. I like the speed of Metcalf, Tane with Egan around that middle of the park. So sets coming out of our own end and then kind of attacking in behind. You've got Tane who can just chime in beautifully with his speed. So I'm really looking forward to just seeing a bit more speed on the field. But overall, I think we've got enough experienced players to kind of be dominant to win this game. So based on what I feel for Fitzgibbon, he's got a lot to prove for me. I mean, for the Sharkies, if I'm a Sharkies fan, I'm looking for a good defensive night. I want to try to keep the Warriors under 18 or 20 points. That would be a kind of success for them. But I feel they're still vulnerable. From what history tells me, I feel that they still can be had, if we should say that. So I'm expecting the Warriors, with a few chinks in our armor. I think the left edge will maybe leak a try or two. I think they've still got a bit of work to do. But I'm expecting a big night from Rog, all the spine players. I think Sean and Metcalf will control together, but I think Egan was going to have a good night as well. So my scoreline prediction off the top, I'm really thinking like a kind of a 26-18 or a 28-20. I think we will score maybe 4 or 5 tries, but I do feel that we may leak a few down that left edge. And while things are kind of tightening up, I feel the big issue for us is we do have a low or a drop-off from Egan. That's my main concern from what I've watched so far, is that drop-off from Egan. Can we maintain, and how do we build momentum when he comes off? So if he does come off and Lussick comes on, how can we generate more attack? How can we generate more energy and momentum to kind of continue our game speed? Because we do have a very good game speed and offense. So that's my concern. But looking forward to it, man. Round 1, we're back. If you guys have enjoyed this, please give us a like and subscribe on WAHSUP TV. Appreciate all your support, and I'll catch you later.